Hello and welcome to another episode of the DewatchPod podcast. I am Jorgen Smorgasbord.
And I am Jane with a G, and we're returning back to the Orville for
That's
our
right,
second episode, which is also, I think you said, the second episode of the season.
That's right.
Wow. Such beautiful synchronicity we've set up for you all today.
And we have watched Shadow Realms.
That's
the
right.
Second episode of season 3.
We're being sent to the Shadow Realms. So, I have a guess. I have a guess that this is the lower rated episode of this season.
And what makes you think that, Jim?
Oh, just a lot of things.
What would you say is chief among them?
The special effects. The editing. Though honestly, editing has been very unique in the Orville so far in general. And also the fact that it doesn't have a story. It doesn't have a, real story behind there's a monster. And, that's refreshing in a way. Like Aliens had too much stuff about, like, the experience of female horror. And here it's a monster, my dude.
I've seen Aliens.
All right, I forget.
I've only seen Alien.
Whatever, dude.
Maybe if I see it a couple more times, I can, claim.
Yeah, I believe in you. So that's my guess.
Yeah, you're of course correct.
Hell
because I did leave the rating on the screen.
Well, it was a 7.3. I thought it was going to be like a 4.8. So I am a bit shocked that, if you told me the other episode, the one we watched last week, was a 7.3, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty good. So the fact that this is the lower rated episode and it's still a 7.3 is actually fucking insane to me. I'll be fully honest.
Interesting. Well, we should get into it. Would we recommend the people watch this episode?
Yeah. But a little bit ironically for me. Mostly ironically for me, I suppose.
It's a bit long, but if you got a free afternoon or an empty evening. Sure.
I think this is the kind of episode that goes into the secret third category of why not?
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly.
You're not using this time for anything better.
Yeah. You listen to a podcast.
Yeah, come on. What are you doing here?
Yeah, no, they have a lot more budget than us too.
Not that much budget. Every now and then, as episodes like this suggest.
Well, our budget is what we spent on the microphone.
Yes, and the power costs for the laptop.
Which we don't pay.
Well, I mean, we paid implicitly.
Yeah.
In the greater rent. Nonetheless, speaking of rent, shall we talk about content warnings for today's episode?
I don't know what reference you're making, but we will be expecting such things as body horror,
gore,
and violence.
This time it's just kind of a ball of bad bodily experiences.
Yeah, but I would really stress the first one.
Yes, that's the one that gets very thoroughly front and center.
Yeah, that's where the budget went.
So let's talk about the body horror.
Yeah.
By talking about the episode as a whole.
Well,
I guess we don't start with body horror. We start with relationship horror.
I'm trying to remember where this episode actually starts.
It starts with a Krill diplomatic party, I think, right?
No, there's stuff that happens before it.
Is there?
Yeah. The Admiral establishes the thing before it. He's being weird as our doctor.
I found specifically that they're gonna have the diplomatic party to open up the new sector for exploration.
Yes.
That's the setup.
No, but there are scenes before that lead up to it, and I cannot for the life of me remember what's going on in them. There's a meeting where someone's like, oh yeah, no, the Admiral's coming on board, and then someone's like, how do you feel about that, Doctor? And he's like, what? I'm fine.
That is true, there's that. But I think they're still talking about having the diplomatic meeting that leads into the sector being explored.
Now this episode is an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't use its time very sparingly.
You could reasonably cut 15 minutes and have all the main bits of the episode still there.
Yeah.
Remarkable stuff. Nonetheless, that's the setup. They're negotiating with the Krill, who they're in alliance with against the Kalons. They're gonna open up this new sector for exploration. They go interesting. There's a minor setup in here where one of the crew is like, "We're gonna attach a tracking beacon," and it's like, "What? That's against their security protocols." But fine, never comes up again. So there's
Yeah,
that setup.
all of this is lead up to the actual like point of having the krill on screen whatsoever, which is
Yeah.
that they're like, oh yeah, no, and we want to pass through your space and then explore this expand, and they're like, what?
You mean the
Are you
demon
fucking
lands?
stupid?
You mean Helltopia?
You mean the Shadow Realm? The Shadow
You're
Realm
gonna shadow realm yourselves?
that the Krill Bible says don't go in there?
Where there's super demons and also Castiel from Supernatural. The Tumblr folks will love that one.
I don't know if they will.
But yeah, it's a lot of setup that is really just around that, and secondarily, Admiral Christie, I think it was,
Something
comes
like
on
that.
board and is like, "Hey, Dr. Finn, remember when we were married for a bit?"
He doesn't say it for like a
No.
while. He's just like, hey, how are you doing? Sorry for 25 years ago.
Yeah. She has kids now. He is still hung up on this relationship where he was a professor dating his student. Big no-no. For all your listeners out there, don't do that on either side of this. And like, I think the interesting thing is that there's essentially no ambiguity in this setup. Like, he's still into her. She's like, I'm good. Like, I'm just actually good. Like, you seem nice, but like, I'm good.
Yeah, no, it's she's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
In a way that you could read as like still working through some like old feelings, but that you don't have to read that way because it's the main thing she says is like, I would like you to go away, please.
Yeah, like it's still processing to some extent, I think, but like it's
Yeah.
processing with like a very clear end result in mind,
Mm.
you know. So we have that set up, and he ends up talking to like Isaac and being like,
Hey, you used to date the doctor.
yeah, wait,
Which
Isaac
is
is
the
the
first
robot.
time we learned this information.
Yeah. Orville continues flashbanging me every now and then, especially on the relationship front. Um, Quite the show in that regard. But yeah, so we get that, and just like some prep of him being like, "I'm gonna win her back" is the vibe. Like he finds her in a romantic on-board restaurant and is like, "You sure you're not into me? It'd be really nice if you were still into
I've
me."
still got my wedding ring.
And he goes like, "Do you have yours?" And I don't think she gives like a full response. It was like, anyway, why do you still have that?"
Yeah,
It's just beautiful deflection work in general.
and this is where I should flag that the conversation with Isaac isn't set up for the main plot of the episode,
No,
which I thought it would be.
I also thought this because let's talk about how this terminates.
So, the rest of the episode is they go into the Shadow Realm, find like a space station. Admiral
Christy.
Christie gets like mildly yawned at by a cat power conduit, and has a seizure and starts turning into an alien.
Yeah, big. This is where the body horror comes in, and I quite like the body horror here.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's really well done.
it's just like his left eye is growing large. There's more eyes growing around it. Like there's these like streaks and bulges across his neck. It's
Yeah,
good.
no, it looks fucked up.
It's real bad. And you know,
The rest of the sorry.
no, I was just gonna say he has like another like little thing with the doctor where he's like, I fucking hated your cooking, but I loved you so much I pretended I didn't. So there's like more relationship set up between them. And next scene he is just straight up an alien. Like a
Well,
hunt
he's
down.
gone, and then we like get a slow like there's an alien on the ship like crawling reveal. So we have like a fair amount of like just a plot of Alien playing out
Yeah, also they take out the power generator. So this show is already quite dark on board ships, not infrequently, but now it's actually proper dark.
on purpose.
Yeah.
And we go through like a bit of the plot of Alien, where like people get got sequentially, but they in this one they like get infected and turned.
Yeah.
Which at some point we get through the perspective of like two children. and
The doctor's
the
children,
doctor's
notably.
kids, who we were initially unclear about whether they
It
existed.
really seemed like an excuse to be like, I don't have time to be in a relationship.
And we were like, he's gonna go for them to like get to her. No.
Incorrect.
No, Isaac was like, the children are important to her. The doctor was like, the children are very important to her. And the children are like briefly in danger and then are fine and don't appear again.
Remarkably, they are actually just a plot mechanism for like conveying what the monster is to the rest of the crew.
Yeah.
And then they know, and then they send out One Punch Girl, who has like an remarkably extended scene of her just beating the shit out of at least two of them.
Yeah, 2 or 3 were not quite clear.
Incredibly edited, incredible visual effects on this one.
And from there on, it's mostly cleanup. The crew like slowly gets stuff back online. Various people get like chased. Eventually, they're like, "All right, we've got a weakness," and we get to like the final like relevant scene of the episode, or well, the penultimate relevant scene of the episode, I guess. Which is that the doctor has synthesized the like instant kill weapon and is like, we can't just like kill all of them, like they are like people,
Yeah.
even if they are no longer our people.
Yeah.
So I will use my powers of this guy knowing who I am to threaten him with death.
Yeah.
And then they leave after they're threatened successfully.
Yeah, we have a little bit of like fluff in there too about like, oh, this is like a sort of parasitoid species that uses other species to reproduce. They called us here. Notoriously, the religious krill just like completely nailed the appearance. Like they weren't being ambiguous. They weren't like, oh, they will. Well, they were just like, no, this is how they look like. They will eat you.
Yeah, it's a lot of teeth and eyes, and they'll fuck you up. They'll corrupt you, and they do all of that.
Yeah, like. Big fan of non-abstract religions that are just describing things around you.
You'll love Deep Space Nine.
I've loved my reading of the Bible where they just describe numbers during the Exodus for like 20 pages straight. Nevertheless.
That's right, gang. Jim's getting religious.
Final scene, I guess, is like Isaac and the doctor in the Valentine's restaurant again.
Yeah, and Isaac's like, hey, I'm checking in on you because people seem to do that. And she's like, I'm fine. And he's like, sick. I'm out of here. And she's like, wait. Let me think about if I want to tap that again. And then they have a nice meal. Well, she has a nice meal and he hangs, I guess.
Yeah, we're just vibing.
And that's it.
Yeah. Man. What an episode. What a lot of runtime for not a lot of plot points.
It seems like, well, here's the thing, right? If you see the first half of this episode, and then like are like sat down in a room to like write the other half, you're gonna do better than this.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because there's a lot of setup that is not dealt with at all.
Can I ask you one thing, Jorgen? Like, do you think they were serious about writing a horror episode? Because the first bit, like, once we get past the setup of all the diplomacy and the admiral and stuff like that, it feels really seriously done. But then there's also the part where just, like, and I understand she's very strong, a lady just beats up the monsters pretty easily. And then you get later where they just kind of like shoot them and they go, you got me. Like, I want to be clear about something. I understand that like a horror monster doesn't need to be the strongest, but it kind of takes a lot of the horror out when you have like Son Goku with you on the spaceship.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it, I guess. Because they even set up like or like, I actually think, like, the idea of, like, ooh, like, they can spit. There's a moment in the fight where, like, one of them spits at her and she, like, dodges it and it's like, oh, that was close. So it's not like she's actually just being strong should be like a win all button here, right?
Yeah, no, I don't know what to tell you.
I'm genuinely very confused because it seems like they have like a couple of scenes where it's really scary that the monsters are out there, and then they're pretty much good.
Well, the thing that sort of gets me, right, is that um we have this build up that is not tonally like set up to horror.
Mm.
Right, it's like you do not you have like foreshadowing,
Yeah,
but you don't have like tonally horror. Then we enter the
the
ship,
sinister zone.
yeah, and like which has like a space station that is really sinister.
It's all red and black. It's like shaped like claws.
Yeah, and we're like, okay. And then they start doing like horror shots where it's like, ah, yeah, no, they're being watched from above and whatever, right?
Yeah.
They're doing the things. They're like, they don't at this point do like little jump scares, right? Where it's just like a loud noise in the distance.
They don't do a lot of that in general. There's like one part when we're following the kids and in the blackout spaceship where they have twice they like meet someone and they go ah,
Yeah.
and that's kind of it for jump
Right,
scares.
but that's the horrors, like, right?
Yeah.
And then so we are in this sort of like a lead up section where they do like mostly do like swell, but they do like self-described ominous music,
Yeah.
but like it's a bit energetic.
Yeah. It
It's
feels
orchestral.
Yeah, it's a bit more Darth Vader than like Alien, right?
And then we get like the actual horror portion when like the guy starts to turn and eventually monsters are stalking the ship.
Yeah.
But like the guy turning like isn't played for horror primarily either. It's I don't it's part of it, but it's not like they're really like going for terrorizing you.
No, like I think that's the thing is that like the setup with like him being on the cot and like his face sort of like turning inside out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel to me like a setup for slasher horror or like monster horror. It feels like setup for like the disease horror, right? Like something turning you wrong and stuff like that. Like, cause we had a moment where she's like, "I'm gonna get you better. Like, promise to me you'll make it through," and like that feels also tonally dissonant with like, okay, so you're a zombie now. Like you're like a guy with a knife in a dark corridor type of horror, which is what it ends up being, right?
Yeah.
And like it just feels a bit strange because I actually think the setup of like the mystery of this ship is more interesting than it just being like, like a zombie alien.
Yeah, and but then we do get just like a like fair portion of like slasher stuff.
Yeah.
And
but you can't like if you're doing Jason Voorhees, you can't give someone like a full auto machine gun that kills Jason Voorhees.
yeah, no, like they do it for like a bit and then they're like, all right, the lights are back on. The genre section is concluded and we're doing like sci-fi wrap up now.
There's like kind of in the back of my head, I guess I thought there would be a second twist. You know what I mean? Like, first I was like, okay, she's punching the shit out of them, and the lights are back on, so where's the horror now? Like, there's gotta be something. Kind of the same thing was like when when the doctor is like, oh, I can synthesize a virus that will kill them all. I was like, okay, that has to go wrong somehow, right? Because that's the only way the tension sticks.
Yeah, but like we are very far in the episode at that point, so no, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
And that's yeah.
It's a lot of build up that doesn't feel like it's tied very well, and it also just feels like it aborts its own arc. Because quite frankly, like the connection between Dr. Finn and the Admiral is never interesting, despite the setup it gets. And I don't think
never relevant.
That's the thing, right? It's because it's one thing. I don't think the writing of the dialogue is exactly nailing it in the setup.
Yeah.
But even if it was, the fact that they just go, anyway, so that's over now, is a bit like, oh, okay, well, then why were you doing it? No offense, but like, what?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause the final scene, or like this, the penultimate scene where she's like pleading to his humanity essentially and being like, take your people and go become space monster Moses for us. Like, the fact that those two are connected doesn't actually feel like that relevant, right? Because that's what they're pointing out in the
No.
story. Like, oh, like maybe he'll recognize you. And I was like, yeah, but you're also threatening to kill them all, and they're sentient. So they might just go, I don't want us all to die.
Yeah, what it contributes is that it is like a mechanism to like bridge the communication gap.
Yeah.
But like that's it.
And they can talk. Like, I don't know. It feels like there's a step there that's missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like he who he is doesn't like visibly carry over into like the monster portion.
You pointed out during the thing that, like, oh, the only reason that he needed to be an admiral was so that he could, like, override the lighting on the ship.
Yeah.
And that seems very correct.
Well, yeah, and like that's fine.
Yeah.
But like
it's, like, I don't know. If you're gonna point out that, like, there's something in there left of him, like, I have to ask what?
yeah, no, like it's and we don't get an indication that there is either.
Like, that's the thing, is if, let's say, you have a moment in there somewhere where he's about to, like, one of the monsters corners her, and then she's about to get, like, destroyed, and like, the monster stops. And then, like, she notices the ring on his finger or something. Like, I'm not saying that's stellar writing, but it at least make it relevant, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what's missing here, I feel like.
You know, like it's an episode that very much feels like it's less than the sum of its parts.
It's a genre episode that it gets confused about what the tropes of the genre is, you know?
And I mean, also like they can't kill everyone, and they do have like a fairly high body count.
That's also the stunning part. Like, I don't know, this is the closest I'm gonna get to cinema sense in this episode, but like, by the end, there's like apparently like a lot of these, and we see like two of them turning. So I was kind of like, man, they must have fucking been snatching red shirts left and right in the
Yeah.
background.
No,
Like,
but we're not supposed to care about that,
Well, like,
so
that-
the characters don't either.
I don't need to care about it, but I felt like it would be nice to know the scale, right? To just be like, Captain, the entire lower deck is gone. Like, I can't get through to anyone. My God, they must have gotten to them all. That would have been enough for me, genuinely. To just be like, at least establish that this is going on. Because up until then, I was like, okay, there's like two, maybe three of them.
No, it's spreading, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like it's like if is the larger theme that finally he respects her enough to be like told to leave.
The fucked up thing is that, like, I actually think, for being a bit of a fucking weirdo about a relationship that ended 25 years ago, he doesn't actually strike me as that disrespectful.
No, he's like clearly like, hey, can we do this? And she's like, absolutely not.
And
Go
he's like,
away.
fair, okay, I got it. Like, there's, this is more of a joke than like a serious indicator of his personality, but there's the
Yeah.
part where Isaac is about to tell him about her favorite sexual position. He's like, I don't need to know that. Like, please don't tell me that. Like, even that is like, if you wanted to make him a creep, you could have had him like lean in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, he doesn't, he seems like a bit of a weirdo and quite frankly a bit stupid, but like,
Yeah,
not
no, like
evil by any means.
and like his soul isn't that corrupted, he's just doing like animal stuff.
Like, he gives me less of the vibe of like an actual stalker and more about someone who's like, I'm gonna go on the same vacation trip with my ex because we share the same friend group, gets rejected the first day and goes like, I can't get off the cruise ship. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, no, there's like it feels like there is like a different version of this episode
Yes.
that they pulled because they were like, I don't know if we want to show children being menaced by the fucking eye stalk demon.
This feels a bit like an episode that was like cut together by multiple reshoots, and they were like, "We gotta get something out, man. I don't know what to tell you."
Maybe.
This is like, this is a horror episode. It was an action episode. It was like a romance episode. Like, this is a bit prejudiced,
Mm.
but early on, after like the first meeting between the Doctor and the Admiral, there's like a scene where she and one of the bridge crew, the lady with the like sort of reddish hair,
Mm-hmm.
have like a real like Sex in the City type sit down. And I'm like, first off, like, this is not good Sex in the City type writing,
Mm.
with all due respect. But also, like, oh, I think this is gonna be poorly rated because maybe it's too romance focused, and that's not the vibe of why people watch this show. Um, but it didn't turn out to be as focused on that as I thought. I think it's just a very awkward scene.
Yeah.
It continues having the issue of the Orwell, where it's like, or the Orwell, where characters speak as if they're making statements that are like in the pre-draft of the script. You know, like I think that's a fascinating part about this. Is like there's such a total lack of conflict for the Doctor. She sounds like she's writing a blog post when she's explaining her feelings. She's like, I've summarized everything. I don't need to do any sort of like emotional investment into this. I have written a self-help book. Here's my pitch about my relationship.
Yeah.
It's just very awkwardly written.
Yeah, no, like there, like where's the conflict? Right?
Yeah, not really.
It's just like sort of collaborative problem solving with like some toothy obstacles.
Pretty much, it's such an odd episode. Like it really feels incomplete, I guess is the way I would put it.
Yeah, no, like I don't think there have been literal reshoots. I do think there have been like rewrites because they might have been going for him being like a lot worse and
Maybe,
then like
yeah.
reconsidered
I think there
and
might
had
be.
nothing left.
I think there might be that. I also just think it feels like confused on a more fundamental level to me too. And
Hmm.
maybe some of that is like rewriting, but some of it I don't know. It just also has the energy of like they needed another episode, and they were like, we can rope in some love letters to other
Yeah.
genres.
I mean, we do have like another element, which is like what is what is like happening. What is I think jumping out to me as like a bit of a weakness of the Orville that they have a fairly wide core cast,
Hmm.
but instead of having them like be given like a B plot or something so that like there's always like sort of more of the core cast engaged in the central stuff, um they just get stuff to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
And I I'm not sure if that's an upgrade on the like discovery model of Michael Burnham has every skill and fits every plot.
We really swings and roundabouts here on the podcast. I think like also another thing I want to point out. I feel like the budget is extremely strangely used
Mm-hmm.
because with all due respect, they seem to really put a lot of money into doing the like sort of ships going through space scenes. Like they're always a bit longer than they need to be, and like they're quite pretty.
Yeah.
But then you end up also like we're suffering with this. My thought is always that like horror is such an interesting genre because I think you can do it really well on a low budget, right?
Mm.
Like if you're looking at something like Doctor Who is notoriously like the best horror episode of that show is one where they had like no budget, right, with the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we'll use some like presumably like styrofoam statues.
Yeah, and like this one, they have such a good like I don't actually know if it's CGI or whatever, or if it's just like really good makeup. But like the practical effects of him laying there with the like fucking giant eyes and like extra eyes poking out of him is really good.
Mm.
But when I have to get to like the monsters jumping around, like it's just like it feels like you have two different video games being streamed together and you can see that one is set to a higher FPS than the other. Like it just looks so wrong and you didn't have to do it. You know?
Yeah. Well, otherwise, Strong Lady wouldn't have gotten her moment to shine.
Why did Strong Lady need to be here? Like the more I'm thinking about this, the more it feels like Strong Lady being here is just such an issue for the episode setup.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like the last time we saw a single episode, the previous single episode of this show we have seen has her also be like, I can open this door and not be irrelevant otherwise.
The one person who's specked into strength in like an all intelligent party. It's real rough for her, you know. Like I don't know. It feels like they don't know what their budget is. Like that they're not like riding around the fact like, listen, we can't have these scenes because they'll look stupid. So let's write in such a way that takes advantage of what we can do.
Or like shoot, because like they don't shoot in a way that is like conservative.
No, right? Like we get like the first time we get like a couple of scenes of the like sneaking around in the dark monster, and then we have like a straight up close up, and like I think it looks pretty cool, but you can see it fraying from there, right?
Yeah. Well, I like it. It didn't like land nearly as badly for me. I think I was just like, ah, this is pretty silly. Like
Yeah.
I was just like, I was pretty taken out of it by like, ah, it's. I guess it's strong lady time. We don't
Yeah.
know the characters' names yet. So we will probably get there by the end.
Well, speak for yourself. I have a very poor memory. No, I just like I don't. That's why I kept thinking like I don't know if this is meant to be a little bit of a bit, and that would be fine. But it feels like
I
it
think
takes
she
itself.
might be a remnant from the comedy season, and
Yeah.
they haven't quite worked out how to deal with that.
I think that also is like its own thing, right? Because like we were talking about the like again, I need to focus on Best Boy Isaac, who just has the silliest face of any robot in any sci-fi show I've ever seen, and I love it. So when they throw in that like, oh, you two are sexually involved, I was like, okay, like clearly this is from an earlier season before they started taking themselves more seriously, and
We don't know that.
yeah, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm launching that guess now, and also just like this is coming like if you want to keep doing like a serious show, this is gonna keep coming to haunt you, isn't it?
I mean, it probably gives them a lot of leeway as well. It's a real ambivalent one.
On some level, I also have to hand them like a little bit of credit for the fact that like you could just expunge that, right? Like you could just be like, we're never gonna talk about that again, right? And they're clearly not doing that.
Yeah, no, they're feeling the homages.
Yeah, but yeah, God, what a like just what a confused episode. Like
Yeah.
I feel like usually when we watch an episode that like comes off as confused as this, I can understand how it got here.
Mm.
You know, this one I genuinely don't.
Well, there is a Star Trek episode that it is like very closely echoing.
Okay.
But well, closely is maybe an overstatement. Where they're also like, oh shit, we're in like deep space and there's no stars.
Oh, I would say that there's no stars. I don't know. Like it's not the first time I've heard that, but like I do really like that as like a setup, right?
Yeah,
Like it's free. We never get the explanation for that, do we?
I I was initially thinking like, ah, that's really stupid. Because like if there's nothing in the way, why would the stars be gone?
But that's a
Um,
good question, right? Because then you ask, well, what is in the way? And that's pretty spooky. But you
yeah,
have to do something with it.
yeah. No, the Star Trek episode, it's a Voyager one. Does do something with it. It's like it is centered on that specifically. Like a very like a completely like fucked region of subspace.
Right.
And here it's just like a really cool visual effect that is immediately discarded.
Like it has the energy. Orwell, I suppose, ever has the energy of sometimes just doing pure like style over substance, and it's just kind of like I don't know. It's like them showing up on a planet. It's like, wow, here all the plants bleed blood, and then they just never go back to that. They're just like, yeah, that's a good sentence. That's a good setup. Anyway,
Yeah. Um yeah, I don't think I have anything more I can wring out of this
no, I
episode.
have absolutely nothing. Like it's, I think I came to the conclusion that I don't think there's any like deeper meaning behind it.
No, I
But it
don't
is,
think so.
it's interesting to analyze on its own sense. But
Mm.
that is about where that ends.
It's like seeing the show with the plot mostly removed.
Yeah, essentially, right? I guess like here's my conspiracy theory. The writers were on strike and everyone else just had to keep doing their job.
It's not impossible.
There's a chance. There's a chance.
But yeah, I think that's it from us this week.
Yeah, are we moving on to season 2 of The Orville?
That's
Coming up?
right.
All right, excellent. We'll see. I get to guess again. Dude, I will say, I felt so relieved when we watched this episode and I was like, okay, this is the bad one. I was right last time.
Nonetheless, see you on the other side there, listeners.
Cheerio.